Today I'm going to show you how I like to get ready. I'm going out tonight, so I already have my makeup on, and it's time for me to do my hair. So I've already shampooed and conditioned, and if you want to know how to shampoo your hair properly or any tips on that, you can look to some of my other videos. So taking the towel out, one of the first things that I like to do is use Aveda Volumizing Tonic on my hair. And I spray that sort of roots to ends. I have naturally curly hair that's fine. So with this hairstyle that I'm going to do, you're gonna see it's a combination of me keeping some of my natural curl and then also straightening areas of my hair. Once I have my product in, I like to blow dry. So I'm gonna be using a blow dry technique called wrap dry, and I already have a video about wrap drying. So this is sort of a modified version of that. So what I'll be doing is I'm gonna be lifting the hair up completely and then wrapping the back, but then also lifting the top. Because ideally what I want is volume through the sides, but nice and smooth through the back. I'm gonna be using my Dyson blow dryer, and I'm gonna use high power and high heat. I use also a vest brush, and a vest brush is a flat brush. So what's good about this is I can really just work it along the shape of my head, which is gonna create volume, but then I can also wrap it across my head so I can get something nice and flat. So it's a versatile brush. As I'm blow drying, you'll notice that the hair is moving because I'm making sure to have the blow dryer close to my scalp. So as I move the blow dryer, what it'll do is it's gonna blow dry the root without burning my head. This is really important because sometimes I watch people blow dry and they never really put the airflow onto the hair where they need it. So once I have the volume on this side, I'm gonna do the same on the other. Now that I have both of my sides dry, I'm going to add a little bit of volume through my front hairline. As soon as I get enough volume in my hairline, I'm gonna move right to the back and I'm gonna wrap dry before my hair gets too puffy and it's hard to style. If you find that your hair dries before you remove the curl out of your hair, mist it down with a little bit of water or a heat protector. So lastly, when I'm coming around to the top, I do two things here. I either can place my hair onto the brush and work upward like this, or I flip my head upside down. So if your shoulders fatigue at all, it can be nice to kind of just flip upside down, and I tend to stand when I do that. So bear with me because I might look a little bit strange while I do this. Now I'm finished my blow dry. From here, I want to assess what I need to flat iron. So I have my flat iron, which I have turned on to a temperature of 360 degrees. You don't want to go too hot, because if you do, you can actually create permanent damage to your hair. For myself, because it's so fine, I need to be careful with heat. But I also cut it pretty short, so it never really stays on my head for too long for it to get that damaged. So right now, I'd say I've done a pretty good job of my blow dry, and I like the amount of lift that I'm getting in through the front. So what I tend to do is just section from the side, and I do think it's important that you have sectioning clips. And going in with my flat iron, I want to make sure that the comb is going to hold the hair, and then I want to catch the hair with my flat iron, so that way I can get nice and close. If you're having a hard time with that, then by all means, you can just hold it with your fingers, and then I like to create a little bit of a curl. Sometimes I wear it straighter, but today I feel like I want to wear a little bit of curl. Now you can section with your comb, or sometimes I like to use my fingernail. It's whatever's handy. And after I flat iron each piece, I want to make sure that I like what I'm achieving. So depending on how much time I have or where I'm going, I might only flat iron parts of my hair, or I might do all of it. But I especially think it's important that you at least make the front of your hair look nice. So you can even see as I'm moving up my head, I am starting to take slightly larger sections. But with these ends, just adding a little bit of curl. And what I like to do is make sure that when I'm flat ironing the front, I'm gonna curve it back. So you can see how much bigger my sections are becoming. And this is where I'm gonna work on a slight diagonal and pull that hair back. So what this will do is it'll just give me a little bit of curl on the ends and keep it from getting too straight along my face. Along the top, I probably only have a couple more sections to go. And so even in here, if I want to have this hair curl back, I'm going to do just that. So my sections are going to work back off my face. It's also what's easier for me to do. So sometimes when I'm doing someone else's hair, I might modify that hairstyle when I do it on myself, simply because I have to work against gravity. Whereas when I do hair on someone else, I'm above them. I like to take a parting that sits right at the corner of my eyebrow and works upwards. What that does is it creates a bit of a diagonal, so it's gonna make my face look a little bit longer because my face is a bit round, which I don't mind, by the way. I think all face shapes are beautiful. And the big thing is just trying to match so that this side looks the same as the other. Where I like to pay attention is my hairline. So oftentimes what happens with most people is you might be curlier along your hairline, or you could be straighter. So sometimes I'll just grab these little pieces and I'll make sure to iron those individually. Then my last section on this side, I'm going to make sure to lift the root a bit, and then of course curl that hair back ever so slightly. So depending on what happens here, sometimes what I like to do while I move on to the back is form my hair into place using a non-marking clip. When it comes to the back of my head, to be honest, I kind of just feel for the lumps. I rarely will actually set up a mirror to look at the back of my head, maybe just because I hope no one criticizes how it's gonna look back there. But because my hair is quite short in here, I'm not going to flat iron because it's too short. But above that, where it feels lumpy, then I take horizontal sections and I just iron them with a slight curve. So you can see my sections in the back are definitely larger, probably just because at this point I need to hurry up and get to work or wherever I need to go. And then my last section, I'm just gonna take this along the top. And yes, I do like to use a comb because the comb is just gonna help feed that hair through. Also, it's gonna prevent me from burning my fingertips. Now I'm just touching the back to make sure that I don't feel any lumps or bumps, which I don't. So I'm gonna remove my non-marking clip. What I like to do with hairspray is I spray the top of the wide teeth of the comb. And then I like to use just where I've applied the hairspray to the hairline of my hair. And if I don't like to look too hairdressery, I make sure that this piece isn't too coiffed or too perfect. And there you have it. This is how I style my hair sometimes when I like to go out with a little bit of volume, and all I need to do from here is put my earrings on and get changed.